This time on the BK, we're one-on-one with Whimp to Warrior world record holder, who in an ice-addicted state didn't qualify for rehab, yet post-health crisis has risen to one heck of a businessman and helps many a family put roofs over their heads. We also hear from a Northern Beaches music sensation as he launches his debut EP in lockdown. G'day everyone, welcome to the brand Konnect. I'm Matt Jai and we're coming to you live from sunny Sydney, Australia. That's right, Oz, the land down under. Now this week on the show, it's our very first show. We're catching up with a roofing legend, Mr. Simon Niland, one of Northern Beaches' premier roofing companies, Niland Roofing, and Sam Higginson. He's actually playing a few tracks from his debut album, The Journey So Far. But before we cut to these cats, let's cut over to Tommy B in the booth and see how Tommy is. Mate, how's your week, Tommy?
Hey, how's it going? Tom here, Mission Control. Week's been good. Just getting this all set up for today, yeah.
Mate, what have you been up to this week in the preparation week for the Brand Konnect?
I've been in the studio, moving cables, putting lights up, testing cameras, testing audio. It's been full on, but we finally got there in the end.
Well, that's life in lockdown. I mean, a lot of people, out there in, everyday society and land, they're in lockdown. We've got a 2-metre table here between myself and Mr. Simon Niland. And Simon, how you been, mate? What's been going on?
Yeah, it's been good. I've been busy. My time in isolation hasn't really been affected too much. For this whole COVID thing, our business has been sort of kicking along nicely. It hasn't really affected us too much yet at all.
Mate, you sound like one of few. I mean, the entertainment industry has absolutely been flogged. And we've got an entertainer in the booth. Mr. Sammy Higginson, are you with us, mate? What's going on there?
Oh, indeed. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Mate, how's life in musical lockdown? I mean, you're now locked into our sound booth here at the Brand Konnect HQ. But, mate, what's it been like for you to be up there in Boothland?
It's pretty nice in Boothland. It's nice to have a gig and be playing some music, to be honest. The past 6 weeks have been very quiet in the entertainment industry. Has been hit pretty hard by the virus, with pubs and bars closing, weddings shutting down. So all music has pretty much come to a standstill, unfortunately.
Mate, the journey so far, I've heard it. I actually really love it. There's a couple of tracks that are going to be, mate, without a doubt, it's bloody good music. And we're stoked to have you on here because he just actually launched the album a couple of days ago, and now we're going to hear a couple of tracks tonight. But, mate, entertainment industry's flogged. You're up. You're feeling good. You ready for a couple of good songs tonight?
Yeah, I'm indeed. I'm looking forward to be performing again. It's going to be nice. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, mate, we're going to come back to you a little bit later. Simon, mate, I know that you're a pirate.
Yeah.
Once a pirate, always a pirate.
Of course.
You know, talking of pirates, it's funny because I actually, Simon and I played rugby together when we were really young. Did you know that until...
I didn't know that. Our mutual friend Phil brought that to our attention again. He sent me the photos only a couple of weeks ago, and then I realised that, well, we all realised when he gave us both those photos that we were in the same junior football teams. And even we were talking recently and we didn't realise that, that was the case between you and I anyway.
Well, what about the classic aspect of it that essentially you and I played rugby together? We both lived in Manly together. We both went different sides of the track, so to speak, or different, peer groups. But we've got essentially such a similar life, such similar mates, and a central linchpin of that, Frank Crisso. And here we are, 40 years later. What is it? Was it under 8s or under 7s?
30, yeah, it'd be 35, 36 years, wouldn't it? I think it might have been under 8s, under 9s.
I think you're giving yourself a little bit too much there because I'm 47. So if it's under 8s, under 9s, I'm my calculations, I don't know if I'm wrong. Sammy, what's the difference between 47 and 8 and 9? Can you give us a...
There's not a lot. I reckon there's probably a good 39 years in there.
Well, there you go.
At least.
Thank God we got a musician. He counts bars and beats. Mate, thanks, Sammy.
That's all right.
Look, Simon, the good thing about old mates, we played in the same footy team. You're actually one of the better players, so I understand, of the C5 Pirates. Now, Tommy, have you got a shot there that you can sort of reference of that under 8s, under 9s, the inconspicuous year? Just so people get a bit of granularity to where we were. Mate, do you remember who was in the team with us?
Phil and Steve Laidlaw and Matty Jai, who I've only just realised recently. And I can't remember any other names.
I've got no idea who the lad
Nah.
in the middle is actually holding the footy. He must have been captain.
He was the coach's son. He was a Malaysian kid, I think. I was talking to Phil about it a while ago, and because we all did the Cubs and Scouts sort of thing as well, or half of that team or more. Also did the Cubs and Scouts, and the coach was also the Cub leader as well.
Were you an Arcala? Was it an Arcala that you got to in Cubs and Scouts? Because I did it as well. I did it at that place just at Bagala Heights there, in that flat oval area. Was that where you did it?
No, we did it near Bagala Boys High School across the road.
Yeah, right, because James Whitehead is actually in that picture, and James did it there as well. I remember his old boy was a coach in another one of the Pirates teams, but from a Pirate you became a Raider, and then you got selected to play locally. You played Raiders?
I did play Raiders.
What position?
I was always 5'8" or inside centre.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, in the backs.
It's funny, those younger years, I'd gone through quite a lot of trauma as a kid. I guess, my dad left, when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And that was pretty full on because I was one of the first kids in primary school, like to not have, not be co-parented. And I don't know if I've just blocked out a lot of period there. Like I played every ball sport possible. Like, I seem to be a bit of a jumper. I went from one thing to the next.
What did you do after rugby?
I ended up playing AFL.
Yeah.
And then I played rugby league. I played 1 or 2 seasons for C4 soccer.
Yeah.
The bloke called Stuart Simpkins got me involved in it. I know the Simpkins. His old boy just passed away, rest his soul.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had that family trauma as well. My parents, because that's how I ended up actually in Seaforth, was because my parents broke up. So I went there.
Where were you living at that time?
When I was younger, until I was 7, we lived in an area called Talopia.
Okay.
Which was a pretty rough sort of area near Parramatta.
And how did you go from Parramatta to where were you when you went at that?
Seaforth. Peacock Parade, Seaforth.
No way.
Yeah.
So I was in what's it called? Clontarf Street.
Clontarf.
Yeah. The house is still the same to this day.
Well, that's funny. That's where that house was. We were in Clontarf Street when my brother and I burned that house down.
How did you burn a house down? My brother and I did some stupid things.
Yeah.
Or stupid shit. But how did you burn the house down?
We were being little rascals. But our mum used to have to work because it was single mum, so she was always out working pretty much all weekend.
The only way that mums got by, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
3 jobs?
Yeah, she had 3 jobs and worked and wasn't really there to really see what we were doing much. So we were sort of running amok a little bit.
Would you light it with Teddy?
We were actually smoking weed.
How old?
I would have been 10 or 11.
Oh, where'd you get the weed from at that age?
My brother used to get it. We actually used to steal it we had bikies that lived next door.
As you did.
And we used to raid in Clontarf Street. There was some bikies that used to live there. They weren't like patch bikies, but they were pretty hardcore sort of dudes.
They had the green.
Yeah, they had this little patch growing in their backyard, and we used to knock it off quite regularly.
Wow.
Do little hits, or my brother did for the most part, and him and a couple of girls down the street that lived down the end of the street. There's a couple of twins down there. We used to sit around and smoke weed with them, pretty much.
You boys, you guys actually had it covered.
We're into it.
When you think about it.
Yeah. So we were trying to. We had candles and stuff going in our bedroom, and we were trying.
With the girls or no?
No, we had some other guy, local guy who lived, I think maybe in Clontarf as well.
Not an Ansems or something. Or?
It wasn't an Ansems. Was it like maybe Greg Purdy?
I know Purdy.
Yeah. I think he was there smoking weed with us, and he just left, and so we went to go and fix ourselves something to eat. And as you do.
I wonder why.
As you do. And we were melting. We used to try and melt milk crates and stuff together. And I think we had a candle on top of the milk crates that we were playing around with. And the candle burnt down or knocked over or went on.
And the house went down?
Whole house. House burnt down.
What did Mum say? Were you in the...
Mum was unaware that it was actually us. So the fire brigade, because our TV blew up. We had a TV in our room and a whole stereo system and the whole bit. So the fire...
Dog didn't do it?
The dog didn't do it.
Yeah, right.
The fire brigade said that it was an electrical fault, so it saved us.
Wow.
From our mum.
And how old was your brother at that stage?
He would have been 14.
So he could have gone to a juvenile situation.
Yeah. Well, we ended up in Darwood Home.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because we had
Darwood Home. Everyone, just to give you a bit of reference, Darwood Home was, I guess, a child refuge back in the day. In many ways, wasn't it? Or a home for those that were underprivileged.
Yeah. So we basically had nowhere to go. And we ended up
with your mum.
With my mum, yeah. Mum ended up we'd burnt the house down, lost all our possessions. The only thing we had left was anything that was in the wash. Our dirty washing was the only clothes or possessions that we had left, basically.
Wow.
Yeah. That was pretty traumatic.
That would have rattled you.
Yeah.
And you were super young, and obviously had already. Where was your dad at that stage?
Dad, I don't know where he was living. Western Sydney somewhere. Yeah. So we used to hang with him a bit. We actually started hanging with him a little bit more after that because my mum had a nervous breakdown sort of a little bit after that. So she actually dropped off the radar a bit. So we were in Darwood for about a little bit under a year, maybe 8 or 9 months.
How'd you step out of that and where'd you go to? Did you go with Dad after that or?
No, Mum got a house again. She got a like a community. It wasn't a housing commission, but it was like a community housing sort of thing. In Harbord. We moved to Freshie.
Harbord back in the days was definitely, they call it Harbord Village. It's called the Village. So it was the Village, wasn't it? And it was kind of like, I don't know, it was full surf shacks, hey? Was that what you moved into? Or?
It was nice. I mean, it was good. It was a good area.
What a sea change.
Yeah, it was good. Man. I mean, we were at Seaforth. It wasn't like it was a bad area either.
And these days, you'd want to live in Seaforth. If I had the coin, I'd be living in Seaforth.
Seaforth's beautiful.
I think it's sick.
Yeah. It is very nice. So, mind you, I wouldn't mind living in freshwater either.
Oh, man, I'd live in fresh air at Seaforth. But hey, Camera is not bad for the minute.
Yeah.
But, so Freshie was a nice sea change. Is that where you started surfing? And
that is where I started surfing. So I started from there. So I ended up having to commute to school from there.
Brick home this time? It was unburnable?
It was brick, and it was unburnable. So we ended up. I went to Freshwater High School. So I wanted to go to Bagalla Boys because all the schools that I'd went to in the area all fed pretty much to Bagalla Boys. So I knew heaps of lads that were going there. And Mum was not for it. She wanted me to go to a co-ed school. And so Freshwater, I
did a year at Bally, and I got given. Mum read the right act to me. Like my granddad was a major in the Australian Army, and like some doctor. He was a doctor.
Yeah.
And he used to take care of the priests, like when they were actually like going through preschool. So he was the doctor that took care of them. And she said, "Look, you can go to private school. I can get you in anywhere in Sydney, but I can't really afford it. Or you can go to public school. But if you go to a public school, you can't get in trouble, Matthew."
How did that go?
And I lasted a year.
Yeah.
I think I had more days off and spent more time sort of missing that first roll call than I should have.
At Bally?
Oh, yeah. It was Helltown, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was called.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about Bally Boys, you just re-roofed Bally Boys. Like you've got a roofing company these days, right?
Yeah.
Niland Roofing, is that correct?
I do.
Yeah, right.
And we just did a whole heap of work there.
How was that to step back there and see what it's turned into?
Yeah, it's good. Well, my son went there as well. So he worked on there and he'd left a couple of years before. So we had a whole crew there doing a whole heap of works, doing roofing on about 4 or 5 of the different buildings and a few connecting new buildings and what have you.
And what your company, Niland Roofing, how many crew have you got like on a any given day doing?
I think we've got 8 or 10 at the moment. We've had anything up to 14. It's a bit of a hard number to manage anything over that.
Yeah.
Especially without the supervisory staff. I'm finding it difficult to get that next level a little bit at the moment, but it's good. We're at about 8 to 10. I've got a couple of office girls, and it's a manageable sort of number, especially for the sort of work we do. And then we can always call in more guys if we've got some bigger contracts and stuff like that.
The roofing game per se, I mean, the way I've always heard about buildings, I might be totally wrong, but, my background's mechanical engineering, fitting or whatever. But, you get a good slab if you get a good concreter.
Yeah.
You get a good brickie that can actually lay bricks. And then that's if you got a brick home that don't burn that well.
You can always try.
Well, mate,
Bit of petrol.
there's a lot of houses around.
Yeah.
But then you get a good roof on top, and the roof is the one that, it's elementary key, right? Because it faces everything.
Yeah.
And that's what
your
keeps it
protection.
dry. Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool is it for you to own a roofing company with this amount of staff and families that you literally maintain their lives? Is it epic?
It's good. I like it. I've always, I don't see that as a heavy burden. There's 10 to 12 families that rely on me basically for their pay every week.
So when COVID hit then, did you sort of start thinking, shit, what's going to happen here with my staff?
I did a little bit. Like I had to trim it a little bit. If anything I thought was unnecessary, staff or, tools or...
When did you start roofing yourself? I mean, if you've got all these guys working for you and you're now...
Yeah.
You're trying to tell me you're in your 30s, but you're in your 40s.
I'm not in my 30s.
Oh, neither am I,
Yeah.
But
I started when I was 15. I left school early. Schooling, I sort of decided wasn't going to be lead me to anything more than being a tradesman. So I just asked people around in the area that I knew. It was a friend of my mum's actually that got me into roofing, and he had licenses for metal roofing and roof tiling, but the installation of the metal roofing used to drive me nuts, so I chose to be a roof tiler. And then a few years later, I got my license to be a roof plumber as well. So I've got license to do.
A roof plumber now, there's not toilets on roofs, or have I missed the boat here?
No.
Is that
just to keep the water out?
Okay, pipe.
Yeah, down
gutters.
pipes. Well, metal roofing is roof plumbing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of the corrugation, or?
It's just roof plumbing. So
right.
anything other than a tile roof pretty much is roof plumbing.
Yeah, right. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom, did you know what a roof plumber was at all?
I had no idea what that was. I thought plumbing was just toilets, to be honest. But yeah, you learn something new every day.
You are from Ireland, right? So what sort of roofs do you have in Ireland? Do you have thatch roofs still, or?
Yeah, we're still living like 200 years ago with thatched roofs and that, yeah, that's the way it is. And there's leprechauns everywhere and pots of gold, I was trying to find those and hit the big time,
Mate, that sounds good to me. What do you reckon,
Jason Rainbows. That sounds real good.
Mate, thatched roofs. I mean, that sounds like somewhere like,
Should get over there.
The Pacific. Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
There's some good waves
Business
over
opportunity.
there.
Yeah.
You'd like to surf?
I do. I don't know about that Amalgamore wave. Looks pretty freaky though, doesn't it?
Mate, Ireland.
This is the left. Yeah.
I've seen footage of Fanning going mad over there.
Oh.
But the Irish guys have got it. They're the one who got it down, right?
The Poms and the Irish over there, they actually they smash it, don't they?
Yeah, you'd have to though. Talking about Poms, what about the Prime Minister? He's just had a kid this week. Oh,
Boris.
BJ. You think he'd be Russian or something? With a name like
I know.
Boris.
With a name like that.
Yeah. So anyway, this time of the show, I just want to sort of have a little break from Simon for a second. I want to go to a couple of shout outs. Simon, have you got a shout out, someone you want to, sort of throw a bit of love to at the moment, someone who's, sort of giving you, a little bit of goodness at the moment?
Probably throw a bit of love to my wife and my kids. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
All right. Now, I think my love of the week and of my life would have to be my wife, and Mother's Day just around the corner, and my mum. And you know what, BJ? You just became a dad, so I'd like to throw a bit of love to your fiance. You should marry her because you got a couple of kids in, mate. It's time you probably man that one up. And
he not married her?
Not married to her. Yeah.
Really?
I'm not sure. Tom, do you know the number of kids that BJ's had?
No, sorry, I don't know that off the top of my head, to be honest.
What about you, Sammy? Sammy, who would you like to throw a bit of love to? And do you know how many kids BJ's previously had there, mate?
I'd probably throw, you stole mine, to be honest. A bit of love to Mum. Mother's Day coming up. How good's this? Get to celebrate the wonderful mums out there. Big shout out to Kathy. And no, unfortunately, I do not know How many kids?
Two. I think it's two. I think so, yeah. Not sure.
I was hearing numbers like 7. So,
7?
So two's like... Go to. I mean...
Boris, let's start a rumour. Anyway.
Just on the BK. Let's get the BK rumours out. Mate, talking about kids, you're a dad. What's... You told us a bit of the backstory, like the burning down the house. Good song, by the way, Talking Heads, Burning Down the House.
It's very good.
But, mate, when it comes to kids, how many kids have you got?
I have 2. I have a daughter, Isabel, who is 22, and a son, Isaiah, who is 19.
Where do those names originate from? I mean, they're quite beautiful names, obviously. Isabella is beauty, isn't it?
Yeah. That was just, I think it was always Danielle's pick, but I pretty much had no say in that. There was no convincing anything. And then she wanted me to come up with an I name, and which was, she wanted me to come up with an I name for a boy, and it was biblical. We sort of, Isaiah, I just ran through a few things like that, and as soon as she heard it, she went, yeah, I like it. So,
mate, biblical, that word itself lends itself to our conversation through Phil Laidlaw.
Yeah.
When we were surfing that day, I was going to check the surf at Curl, and I had no idea that we played in rugby. As I said, split family, sort of, I don't know, not misspent youth, but a little bit of a troubled scenario there. Phil was like, oh yeah, I know Simon from footy and Jehovah's Witness. And I was like, huh? And then when the story got out, you started telling me that you had many Jehovah's Witness essentially friends that were Jehovah's.
Totally. Phil, I didn't even remember him as a Jehovah's Witness. So my mum became a witness when I was about 13. And then, so I don't know when Phil, I actually don't know. I don't remember him as a witness. I remember now in hindsight when he said this and that. So I think I might have been maybe about 19 or whatever. No, I don't even know if I was around as a witness at that age. But, so I've got a couple of really good friends that are witnesses and ex-witnesses and people that have worked for me, and Mel in the office is a witness, and so my wife's got heaps of friends that are ex-witnesses and stuff like that. So, right. Religion, that's how we came across the name Isaiah anyway, because we were going to the meetings with Jehovah's Witnesses, and my mum's a Jehovah's Witness, my wife's family are witnesses. So, there's a connection there.
What's it like? And when you say witness, what do you witness the belief and the integrity behind the religion, or?
Yeah, it's a pretty hardcore, fundamental Christian religion.
Who is Jehovah?
In their belief, Jehovah is God's name, so it's God the Father as such. They've got some different religious views to some other. But
so it's not Jesus, it's actually the Father.
It's the Father, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So they're 3 separate entities. It's not a Trinity. It's not all the same. They're not.
It's not Star Wars. It's not the Force.
No.
It's not Luke and Darth.
Not Luke. No. But look, like I said, to me, it was a good thing. It served a purpose. It altered the course of my life. Being a bit of a ratbag child, it showed me the other side.
How good is faith? Like, I heard one classic saying once, like, if you hold on to faith, and you were swimming, and it was like faith was something you're trying to hold on, you'd probably drown. At some stage, you got to let go of the faith. Was that a good thing for you to, like, when you, because like at the end of the day, I know you do, and you work hard, you don't like to work nights. Is that right? You're a daytime worker?
Daytime.
You get people to work nights for you? You just get lots of people working days?
We've done the odd night shift, but I wouldn't. It's not something that I regularly.
You're not in media?
Not in media.
Hey, Sammy.
Yes?
Talking about working nights, you work nights. Yeah,
that's pretty much my job, really, playing at bars and restaurants local around Sydney and down the south coast, doing some things like weddings and private functions. But, pretty much all my work is nighttime.
And now, do you have faith, or are you a religious dude, or what's up with you?
I did. I grew up Catholic. Both my parents from England. Mum was very religious. So I grew up Catholic primary school and high school, and altar server, played in the church band as well for a few years, which was bit of fun.
Did you ever get the strap? Did you go to a private school and wear the strap?
No, I didn't. I didn't quite. I
got strapped. That
missed my generation, that one there.
That strap was like, it was thicker than my head.
Showing your age.
Mate, the strap was like thicker than this beer can.
Yeah.
Or it was thicker.
We used to get the cane.
That stuff is gnarly. I just wondered where, like, you know, the brothers of this, you know, private school went to decided to bring out leather straps. So no strap for you, Sammy?
No, it was just detentions at lunchtime. You just sit in the room and just
think about music.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Think about music?
Yeah, that was pretty much my music got me through high school.
Mate, we're not just going to make you stand in the booth. We're going to cut to a bit of a track of you in a second. But now, Tom, I heard Ireland. Forgive me if I'm wrong here, Tommy. Ireland's one of those places where athleticism is freaking huge.
Maybe 20 years ago it was, but today not really now.
Mate, well, you know, obviously religion's not big in Ireland, and, you know, we've all sort of been through it. I actually went to Christian Board Riders. I don't know, that was a... Did you go there? Oh,
no,
mate, it was Shane Herring.
Yeah. Was he in Christian Board Riders?
Him and Brett.
Yeah.
There was From the Rising of the Sun to the Going Down. We had like songs and stuff.
Really?
And there was a lot of really good surfers in there. And Hero, I remember Hero went from that to number one in the world, you know, not, you know, like blink of an eyelid from childhood to teenager, as you know, with blink as an eyelid. You started roofing really young.
Yeah.
And, you know, as an apprentice, you went through, I guess, that 88 recession, was it?
It was, yeah. It was probably a bit of a godsend for me to leave school early. I left in year 9 and started my apprenticeship, which was about a year before that recession sort of hit and started making it harder for people to get employment, which impacted the guys that finished school that I went through school with. So a lot of them couldn't get jobs and apprenticeships by the time they finished high school. So it worked out pretty good.
I remember I was a fitter at the time, and we'd lost our painter, this old dude who, I think he's Keithy or something, he's an old painter dude. And I ended up having a paint as well, and Mum was in industrial relations, you know, bless her heart, Sue. She was like, you're not painting. Because the ventilation was shit.
Yeah.
And we're painting 2-pack in hydraulics, and it was putrid. But come to think of it now, when you know what we're facing now, the possible word depression comes up more than recession. If I had staff working for me full time, I'd say, hey man, we've got to fucking service the fridge. We've got to do something.
Yeah.
Because we've got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You ended up roofing. For how long did you roof in your? Because you've done a couple of stints of roofing, is that right?
It's pretty much been it. Well, at the end of that, I did a bit of brickies labouring just to get by for a little bit while I was still in apprentice.
Did it shit you, or you just needed more coin, or?
It was, well, no, just sort of work with the guy I was with dried up a little bit. It was probably only a 6-month stint at brickies labouring, which was good.
After that, you never wanted to be a brick again?
Never wanted to be anything to do with a brickie ever again. It was the most boring, repetitive job.
You wanted to fix the roofs?
Yeah, but mind you, roof tiling was pretty boring and repetitive as well.
Is it scary up there?
Sometimes. We did it. We did it before safety rail. So before any of these, you know, no one used to wear harnesses, or there was no safety rail or any protection like that. So it was scary at times.
Like riding the hook with the crane?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, right.
Stuff that you're not allowed to do anymore. So there was some pretty hairy moments, like where...
Do you think you're better because there was more, I guess there was more own personal safety than...
You knew that you did take your own safety pretty seriously, because you knew if you fell at some times you would...
It was your profession, right?
You're gonna die.
It's like...
Yeah.
It's your personal life. It's your profession.
Yeah.
And, you know, you got to get the job done.
Yeah. So
and you don't want to die, like, you know what I mean?
No. But a lot of the time the bosses, they'd crack the whip, especially when you were younger and an apprentice, and it wasn't about safety, it was making money. So they'd crack the whip. We were working through the rain, 4-5 stories up sometimes on a wet roof.
Wow.
Yeah, it was scary.
Heavy duty. What about, you know, the whole scene, was it, you know, were people, you know, you mentioned smoking dope when you were young. Did you ever decide to, you know, get harder in the drugs? I know that, you know.
Absolutely.
How did that happen?
I think basically just not being happy, bit of depression, and just wanting to feel better. Even recreational drugs.
Is it because that Gen X that we grew up in? Do you think, Simon, that you know, the music, the time, it was a real. I remember parties. Someone go, I got LSD, and
yeah, everyone used to go a bit harder. Everyone used to get pretty into it. So,
a lot more than today, right?
I don't know. I think the kids are a bit more aware today. I mean, the opportunities there. I think drugs are bigger today, but I think our group of, even with surfing at the time, it wasn't a clean sport like what it is now. Like all the pro surfers used to, smoke weed and take drugs and party. Partying was as much a part of their thing as the actual surfing. So I think society's changed.
Look at Hero. I mean, Hero went from, his nickname ended up being Darrow. Like, that's fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Only because he went off he chose not that professional life.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the drug scene that you were involved in then, was it coke? Was it,
I pretty much got into everything. Even at the end there, I was smoking
needles.
No, I never did needles. Never. That was, to me, you were a proper drug addict if you stuck a needle in your arm. So
because I mean, you got your obviously wife, 2 kids, your company rocks. You got heaps of staff. You got an affluent life. You travel a lot. You snowboard. You surf.
Hasn't always been like that.
How was the addiction? And what was ice like? Was ice like? Is it? I only see ice. I got no idea. But if I get a cube of ice, it melts. Does it just fucking melt you? Or?
Well, when I got into it, we didn't know really what it was. I thought it was like just a strong version of speed. Speed. I've taken speed on and off for a long, long time. And a lot of roofers do. A lot of young guys used to. We used to take it just to go to festivals and to have energy and to just sort of a bit of a supplement. And then that's all I pretty much thought it was. So it was really early days. Now I'm probably talking about, even maybe 15 years ago was probably the first time I would have tried it.
Yeah, right. And how long did you take it for? Like,
I had a couple of stints at it. It was really addictive, really quickly. Like, it just seemed to be a really good drug.
Yeah.
And it became very Moorish very quickly. So within
Is it
6
fully
weeks.
addictive?
Yeah, fully addictive.
And did you felt like you went through a time machine in age? Because you don't look older than I. Within I don't know. You say you're younger or whatever, but
it's insidious. The drug itself was. You didn't realise how hooked you were. You didn't realise all of that, the way that you see people on the street. That doesn't happen. Like people that look bad, that doesn't happen for a couple of years. So there's people out there that can be high as a kite taking this drug.
I had a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend in Austria, and she's a mum, nurse, like owned a horse, not that dog. She had like this full regimented life. Owned her own apartment, and we were chatting one night, and she said, "Oh, when I renovated this, I actually had some crystal meth," and I was like, "You're fucking kidding me!"
Lots of professionals. And I think
she said I did it for like a week, and that was it. She did it for a week. I renovated my place, and then I never touched it. And I was like, "Wow."
You know what? Maybe she didn't do it long enough. But anyone that I know, and I've known some people to take it for a very long time now, and it alters the course of their life pretty quickly. And you start making excuses for, the drugs and you becoming sloppy. But for a while there, I think it increases your output. Feel good. It increases your output. A lot of stuff is enjoyable. It makes things a little bit more enjoyable.
When does it stop becoming enjoyable? When was the fun done? Like, how did you?
I think
what
the
was your
addiction.
measure?
You start making excuses. Like, you don't have the same money. It becomes an expensive habit. Then you have.
It's a cheap drug, though, is it?
Well,
no drug. No, beer's not cheap.
Not if you take as much as I take. It became expensive.
Yeah, right.
So look, it became So it is a cheap drug.
But do you do it with other people, or is it so addictive it's like a chocolate bar? You just gotta go, fuck. There's a bit of chocolate. I'll eat it.
No, I used to do it by myself.
Yep.
I used to do it. It got to a point where I'd do it every morning as soon as I'd get up. Before I'd go to work, I'd have a shower, go in, and
hit the pipe.
Have a hit of the pipe. Yeah. And a little bit. You could buy a point, but that's still was probably $70 for a point, which is 1/10 of a gram. So what would that be? $700 for a gram. So it's
expensive, isn't it?
Well, you don't use much though, so you might use 1/10 of a gram.
Yeah, right.
A day. And that would be enough maybe just to get by. So, but if you times that by, if someone's not making much money, when I used to make, I've always made pretty good money. Roofing has always been pretty good, and so I used to be able to, hide it, a lot of it.
On the beaches, is that where you're getting it?
Yeah, always on the beaches. Yeah.
I mean, no one's immune to drugs, right?
Nah, not at all.
And a lot of, big name people have hit drugs, and and I mean.
I think there's levels with drugs as well. There's levels with drugs where, coke's seen as not that much of an issue, but I think, it's different crew that will get into that, and they seem to think that they're immune to, it's always the prettier, hip and hot happening young people or whatever that hit it, and then old people.
What about toilets in clubs? I mean, I remember they were doing a drug thing down the snow, like last season. There was 85% of all toilets had trace of not just like coke, but it was meth, that. This is a fucking huge, range of drugs.
Yeah, it's a big thing. I actually think drug use has become more. It's become more acceptable, even since when I was like right into it.
Were you ever concerned? Because obviously, if you were having it in the morning and you were roofing it, you had to like get around. Were you tripping on like drug driving? Because these days,
absolutely. I'd stopped before any of the tests. I think it actually around that time when the drug testing for driving came in, I was already
putting on the handbrake.
I was already a year clean.
And
so
how?
I had to stop.
What got you clean? You reckon?
My wife left me. I got really bad. I'd pretty much lost everything. I'd lost my business. I'd lost cars. I'd lost friends. My own family had written me off. My wife was going to leave me. My wife, who was never going to leave me, that was basically leaving me. My kids, I lost my kids. So this was still using. So and I couldn't get into rehab. I actually failed to get into rehab twice.
Why did they? Is that like you can't walk the straight line and they say you failed rehab?
You actually have to be clean. So you actually have to piss clean. So have no drugs in your system for probably 3 days to get into a rehabilitation. Otherwise, they want you to do a detox. And
at rehab, do they lock you up?
No, they don't. So detox and rehab's different.
Okay.
So for some reason, it's different. I didn't understand it either. I thought I was the person that really needed to do it out of anyone.
Yeah.
The second time I went back to rehab, I actually made them do the test twice because I tested for opioids, which was like heroin or
But had you done heroin?
No, I hadn't done, not heroin, but that sort of style.
Totally.
Style of drug, which
synthetic
wasn't my thing.
Heroin sort of shit.
Yeah, look, could have been. It could have even been taking Nurofen Plus or something like that. That would have triggered it. Any of the opioids.
All the pharmaceutical shit.
Yeah, all
right?
that stuff that everyone's into now, which I wasn't doing. So I was pretty surprised. I made the guy do the test again, and then that secluded me from being able to get into any rehab in New South Wales for 3 months, I think. So I'd lost everything at that stage, and I went. My dad lives in the country, so I decided to go and stay with him for a little bit until it became a little bit easier.
And that gave you the strength that you needed?
I'm glad now I didn't go to rehab.
Yeah, right.
That might sound a bit controversial. I'm glad that I worked it out myself. And since then I've read heaps of stuff supporting it. And I've questioned, lots of my own actions and stuff since. And I've thought why I still am sober a few times. And now I'm 8 years sober, but yeah, still going strong. I don't miss it. I feel like I got to the end of that road as a bit of a full stop. I did it probably a lot more hardcore than most people. I'd OD'd. I'd end up in hospital a few times, pretty much pronounced dead on arrival. So I'd done.
That's a wake up call, right?
I'd done my time. I went back after that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Would you ever, now that everything's so, I mean, okay, let me ask you, and I'll rephrase that. So I know someone really close to me that's, had a freaking journey through it. And when the person's, back in it, they go, oh, it's an illness.
Yeah.
It's not an addiction. You don't know. It's an illness.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're probably not talking that clear, but that's the gate for them. Do you think it's an illness or an addiction? Because you're like,
look,
I know you.
I honestly think that it's all pain. Like, you're always just trying to. If you're a proper addict, you're just trying to feel good. You're just trying to feel better. And so
you're trying to stay strong.
Would that be an illness? I mean, look, I've managed to not do it for 8 years, so I can manage to not do it. And I've
look where your life is now too. I mean, 8 years, you and your wife and your family have amassed a really amazing life in Northern Beaches. You travel, you got.
It took a lot of searching, and it took a lot of different
rock bottom
things. Yeah, rock bottom was part of it, but learning to be happy, learning to be, just finding all those things out, and all of those little steps along the way. Drug addiction was part of it as well. Drug addiction was part of it. The religion was part of it. My childhood, it's all part of it. And then for me to get to being relatively content and happy, even my work's part of it. For me to work for myself and do what I do, and to be able to reward myself the way I do sometimes, it's all part of it. I do feel good about my life for the most part. There's more that I want to do.
I tell you, I feel good to be sitting here and privileged to be talking to you about this, what you've been through. And obviously, it is a journey, we're here with Sam, and he's got, his album, the journey so far. Do you want to actually hear a track from Sam?
I'd love to.
Sam, the EP, mate. I've heard some good things about it. I've listened to it myself. I'm actually enjoying, having you here tonight. Obviously you're a great musician. Would you mind hitting us out? There's a song that I know you've got called "Stay Strong."
I think.
Sammy in the booth.
We will all lose someone who is close to us, but no amount of time will let you adjust. My advice is to sit down and discuss your heart and mind with someone that you trust. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. Don't know what you want, so please stay strong. Please stay strong. We all know that it's a fact of life. Not everyone can win the fight, but naivety was strike, hoping everything will be alright. And one day we will be reunited, but you don't know what you've got until it's gone. You don't know what you want, so please stay strong. Please stay strong. Please stay strong. Please stay strong. They're not really gone. They're in you and me for all to see. So just try to move on. They would want you to be free. They would want you to be free. We all know that we only get one chance to live, love, and laugh and make stupid plans. So make the most of every day that you've got, because Never know, you never know when your world might stop.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Awesome.
The lyrics in there, don't know what you've lost until it's gone. You've been through probably a lot more than most. Your own person is, incredible to be here now, and you're back as a professional. Your personal product, let's say, the Simon Niland brand is up and rocking. How was that track?
I mean, I love it. Sam's on fire.
And how was it, Sammy, in the booth, to know what's going on there?
Yeah, it's great. It's as I said, it's really nice to be performing these songs, especially songs that are so dear to me, that are personal. But I guess for me, putting them out there is the hope that somebody can resonate with them on a deeper level, and that's one of the main reasons I love music and love doing this as a job full time, whether it's originals or covers. It's just, yeah, music speaks. And yeah.
Simon's story, did it speak to your heart and why you wrote a track like that? And why was that track written? Like, is that track for your girlfriend, or is that for just humanity in general? Is it mad that COVID's here and we're all got to stay strong?
It kind of takes a number of meanings. I wrote it kind of for myself and my family. I wrote it for myself and my family back when I was about 16 years old, in high school. We lost a few people who were close to us, both like close family and then friends. And I guess it was kind of just my way to process what I was feeling. But I guess in the same aspect, you can also lose yourself, whether that is in just general life, whether that is religion or drugs or anxiety, depression, like the whole mental health spectrum as well. You can find ways where you can lose yourself, and finding a way to stay strong and kind of pull through those moments, and realizing you don't know what you've got till it's gone, but you might as well make the most of every day that you do have, because you never know what might happen, like this whole COVID situation at the moment. There's so much up in the air and unpredictability of everything. It just makes you appreciate the little things a lot more.
Well, I really appreciate, Sam's music. If you want to learn a little bit more about Sam, how do our guests, how do our viewers get to know a little about you as a guest? Where do we go to?
If you head to samhigginsonmusic.com, you'll be able to find a little bit about me, also on Facebook and Instagram at Sam Higginson Music, and you'll be able to learn a little bit more. Contact me if you want to know more about the songs. I've put out little blurbs, just released the EP and a few little bits of merchandise, T-shirts, CDs, USBs, so they're all on the website, so check them out. I'd much appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, Sammy. And ladies and gentlemen, you've got to stay strong. If you're going through anything, go to things like Are You OK? Lifeline. There's a myriad of things out there that can help you get through this journey that we're all on. Simon, mate, it's awesome to hear, what actually had occurred, sort of in your backstory, so to speak there, man. Like it's pretty incredible to hear what you've been through. These days, you've been through a massive transition, and you're now, 8 years, Niland Roofing's, back doing what it loves. How is it?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, we're forging ahead. Like I said at the very beginning, COVID sort of hasn't really affected our business too much at all. We did sort of change things up a little bit with a few staff, like early on with the COVID thing. But I think I'm going to have to put a few more staff members on.
Okay, wow, that's big. So,
yeah.
Any viewers, would it be okay if you're a good roofer or a great? You have to experience, or you have to apprentices. What do you have to?
No, experience. We need probably 2 more experienced tradesmen when we want, obviously, clean tradesmen. There's a bit of a drug problem within the roofing industry, so yeah, which I can't be around people like that.
Why would you want to be anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're after someone who can be you after a senior person who's got that's an offsider or?
Yeah, senior's always good.
What's going to take your brand to the next level in this hiring process?
We need some guys that are just responsible, like that show up, clean cart, do their job, happy to do their job, do a good job. They don't have to, set the world on fire. That's for sure. We just want some solid tradesmen. So a lot of the time, what you get someone that'll be red hot for a week and then they disappear or they're not. Yeah, something happens.
Do you think that like say the footballers and all, where cash comes pretty quick? Do you think cash in, cash out is the issue with roofing or something like that? That people get cashed up because they're good at what they do, they're experienced, and then they just take their eye off the ball? Or
I think it's just a demographic sort of thing. It's not something that you need qualifications to become a roofer. You don't have to really even finish school. So I think it's the demographic of it. It's a lower demographic, and with that comes social issues. It just seems to be a bit of a thing with roofers, especially roofers, concreters, bricklayers.
And you want the good guys.
We want the good guys, yeah. I mean, we've gone through so many staff, and we try, and even I've tried to help plenty of people like that as well, but it seems to be pretty unsuccessful most of the time trying to do that. So
talking about success and flipping the equation, that's what you're after.
Yeah.
What makes a good product, and what products are you loving working with at the moment? Is there certain products that help your company thrive? Like we've got some good suppliers. I mean, we use all of the ColourBond products, obviously, but our suppliers are pretty good. They look after us. We're probably one of the bigger customers for Prestige Roofing, so they look after us pretty well. If we need something, they make sure we get it on time, or if we need them to drop something and give us a bit of priority, they do for the most part. So I've always got a bit of love for Matt and his company there, Prestige Roofing, because so they help us get their stuff out and get it on quick, which a lot of the time there's custom made flashings and bits and pieces that need to finish off a roof, and so they look after us. We get the original orders through, and then the finishing products we get off them as well. It's handy to have professional stuff, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, your product. I mean, Sam's a good product. You're a good product. When you're around, that good product scenario, things seem to work and work well. Is it the game itself? Is it evolving? Is the roofing gaming going anywhere now, or is it hit its, I suppose, innovation peak?
I think the whole computer modern type of thing, I actually think roofers will probably be phased out at some stage. There'll probably be 3D modelling for roofing or something
like
at
printing.
some stage. Yeah,
like
they'll print
yeah,
roofs,
right.
I think. And I don't think it's probably too far away.
And then they've craned on?
There'll be a machine that'll 3D print the roof.
On the home?
On the home.
Are you working on one?
No. It's probably something to be working on, isn't there? Look, I know that there are people that are doing it now. They 3D print a whole house. So, yeah, it's happening. It is happening. So it's probably only a matter of time.
For you, I mean, let's think about it. There is an infinite amount of homes already made.
Yeah.
So to get a new roof printed would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
On your already made home.
And your existing.
Yeah.
It might not even work.
Yeah. So what is that where, you've got your longevity in your profession, or?
I don't think I don't think I've got to worry about too much technology change in my lifetime. And we're ready. It's exciting for me too. I get bored easily. So it's exciting, product changes and things that have to happen for us have to grab onto something. And, if there's a new product or whatever, we're not scared to use it, that's for sure. Solar's a new product. Tesla is supposed to be coming out with the new
solar tiles. Is that, I mean, you guys get crispy up on those roofs, right?
Absolutely.
What's it like in Australia in summer? And we just had like the gnarliest fire season.
Yeah. It's crazy that they haven't come up with something sooner. I mean, it gets damn hot up there. When we were doing that insulation rebate thing a few years ago, guys would be jumping in. Guys were dying in roof spaces. So that's how hot it gets inside a roof.
Yeah, right.
And we're on top of it. So, I mean, you just, yeah.
What's the legal limit, like, sort of heat limit that you can work to?
You can manage to about 40 degrees, and anything over and above that, it's pretty harsh. You can do it. You sweat so much that if you don't keep your body salts up to you and whatever, and you got to keep coming down. You got to come down every 15 minutes, have a drink, get back up, get a bit of shade. It's ridiculous at that heat.
And do you work, because, we're talking about you got, staff of up to 14, you were saying earlier. Do you rotate that staff, or do you just have to, projects get pushed back?
Oh, look, we only expect probably half the efficiency on days like that.
Yeah, right.
So we just take it slow. Take it slow, try and look after them.
And does the customer freak out at that point, or
yeah?
They're gonna.
No, I mean they're standing
part
there
of
at
it.
40 degrees as well. So
cool.
We're sort of dealing with the same thing. So yeah.
Yeah, right. And what about the actual roof products itself? Is tiles, are they yesteryear, or would you ever put a terracotta on? Or
they seem to be coming back a little bit. They seem to be in vogue a little bit more. I mean, I like tile as a product. I do like it. It's durable. One of the best explanations of the good use of tile for me was a guy that lived up in Avalon. He lived under all those big trees where they drop branches all the time. And he had a tile roof, and he wanted to keep a tile roof on his roof because he thought that the branches falling down impacting the roof, it's easier to change 3 or 4 tiles than 2 or 3 sheets of metal every time something hits. So they serve a purpose. They're good. I know it went out of vogue. The real game changer for metal roofing was that open plan living. So metal roofs are like a third of the weight. And to have a tile roof over a big open area of a house is really hard. There's got to be so much structural timber and steel or whatever to support it. That's when the cost becomes prohibitive. And then they go to metal roofs and stuff like that. And then it became architectural and
right.
You know what? They both serve purpose. I wouldn't choose or push someone towards whatever. It's a customer's preference to what they want on there. With so many colours, so many choices that I don't want to push someone too much unless they really don't know what they want, or they're not leaning towards one way or another. Then I just put some products in front of them. And
you must sort of like look at it all now. What that past you went through, say 8 years ago, and you must be, I don't know, I might be totally wrong here, but now you've come through it all and you're so clear and you're seeing what's out there for you, even not only in life but in business. It must be an awesome time for you right now to think, I can really, I've gone through COVID-19 and what's it like? You've just gone through COVID-19 so far. No blemish, no speed bump,
no casualties.
Not
in my family. No, it's a bit of a worry, isn't it? Like, it's been huge. It's been hopefully it's a bit of a game changer for humanity, the whole COVID thing.
Do you feel cleaner? Do you, are you like a sanitizer dude? Or
not even that. It'd be good for people to take a bit of a back seat, slow down, care for each other more.
What have you done that's different?
What have I done? Well, I haven't done too much that's different because we've still been working, and it didn't change our lifestyle too much at all. Me and my son.
Imagine if you're a drug addict right now. I mean, I hate to talk about it, but imagine if you were a drug addict right now and COVID-19 came out. Would you be paranoid as all fuck? Or
I don't know. Well, it's sort of, you know what it is. If they're not working or that, I was asking someone the other day if someone that's sort of in that lifestyle a bit more, if things had changed, like if there was as much drugs around or whatever, because I think the borders have probably changed. So I don't know if drugs are becoming more expensive or they're watering down their products.
Cash is going to be harder to spend.
Cash is harder to get. So, yeah, I mean, drugs, they'll probably end up starting to use cheaper drugs, I would imagine. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I'm not quite sure. I feel so far removed from it now. It feels like another life. So, if I run into someone that I used to knock around with or whatever, it's actually a good reminder sometimes to think, fuck, I used to be that.
Well,
worse.
you're a straight up guy, and I know you. You know, you can put your hands up and defend your family, and you know, you've always kept. You know, when we played footy as kids, there's a legendary legacy.
Yeah.
You know, the whole, I guess, fight game. You know, does that something that is always sort of you've enjoyed watching fights, and
absolutely.
Because you got a broken leg right now, right? Yeah. That's the only thing in COVID that's changed.
That's the only thing that's changed me, the broken leg, which was
skateboarding
in isolation. Yeah.
I remember you were kickboxing, we were surfing, you were kickboxing a lot, and I was thinking, Jesus, what happens if you hurt yourself?
Yeah.
Because you won't be able to surf. And obviously surfing's good for us, right?
Yeah, surfing is part of the remedy for me. Makes me feel good. It's, you know what it is? Surfing's spiritual. So, you know, you go surfing and you can't think of your troubles. You can, obviously you can if you make yourself, but you go out there in the water, it's calm, it's peaceful, catch a couple of good waves, life's good.
Life is good.
Life's good.
Yeah.
If you're surfing, life's good. So it's, they're the things that make a difference for a drug addict. Get back to those natural things.
Yeah.
Family, friends.
What made you then, you know, you're saying, you know, the differences of how you feel, decide to, you know, enter something like Whimp to Warrior? Because you're not a wimp. Like, you know, the actual name itself is like, I'm expecting, you know, white collared skinny dude, you know, start having protein powder. And,
it was another test. It was a test. You know, I was getting bored. I was getting...
A test of strength or a test of resilience?
A test of stamina. I was getting older. It sounded interesting. I jumped around from, you know, a few different fitness things here and there, and it appealed to me. I was looking to go to a fight gym with my son around that time.
Yeah, right.
And this thing came up. It was just a Google search, basically, and it was in Freshwater. So I went to...
Just up the road, Freshwater.
Yeah. So it was easy enough.
Where you grew up, after the burning out the house incident?
Yeah, exactly. Just down the road. So I just...
And what kind of regime were you on?
We trained every morning at 5 o'clock or 5:30. So we trained an hour and a half every morning, 5 days a week. And then there was you could go to jiu-jitsu on Saturday morning as well. So every second week, you were training 6 days a week, an hour and a half every morning.
Wow.
So yeah, you end up fit as fuck. It's pretty good. That was
How many weeks is that? Like
I did it 6 months.
Wow.
I trained for 6 months every day.
6 months.
6 months.
And then you're a warrior.
Yeah, and then
and
you have
you
a
spar
fight.
in that time?
You do spar. Not early on. I mean, you learn. You're hitting bags. You're learning.
And what sort of, is it guys, girls? What is it?
There's a lot of girls that do it. So it's guys, girls. So they just match you up in weight. You learn who your opponent's going to be. I don't know, towards the back quarter of the whole series. And then with me, I actually didn't know who I was fighting. I didn't know until maybe a week before, because a lot of people get injured actually, because it's so full on. The training's so full on.
Yeah, and 6 months. It's a big window.
Yeah. So the guy that I was supposed to fight, he hurt his foot really badly. I was probably lucky I didn't fight him. I reckon I would have crushed him pretty convincingly. So maybe not.
You didn't really. I mean, how was your? You know, Tom. Can we pull up that little bit of fight vision of Simon?
My fight was a bit disappointing.
And you got rematch.
Yeah, and the rematch. Once I saw the guy, I was sort of concerned, and I knew nothing. So a lot of the time, you're training with the people who you're going to fight, whereas I wasn't. This guy's from a different gym.
You're right.
So I knew nothing about this guy. All I knew was that he was big and young and strong.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he was big. He's a big boy, bigger than me. And he.
What do you weigh?
To fight, I got to 78. So I'm about 85 at the moment.
Yeah.
78 is probably an ideal. I probably could have fought.
Is that with or without cast, the 85?
That is with cast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
83.
Yeah. Well, I walk around probably 83. That's carrying a bit of weight. So 78 is probably a good weight for me.
Yeah, right.
But
so he's a big fella?
I love my tucker. Yeah, he came down from well into the 90 kilos to fight.
Right.
And and I knew that he was strong, so I didn't want to go to ground with him and have him on top of me wrestling me or any of that sort of stuff.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. No, thanks. Big sweaty guy rolling around on top of me. So yeah, I hit him. I hit him pretty hard.
And Tom, have you got that vision at all? Would you mind?
Yeah, I've got this clip here ready to go. I'll just cut to it now.
Wow. So, wow. Can we say that again, Tom? Ouch. How many seconds is that into? Is that a minute?
That was not even a minute. That was under 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
So, yeah, he came straight in, and I knew that they would have told him to be careful, stay away from my left hand.
Can we just say that one more time, if that's okay, Tom? Would you mind? Wow. Ow. Okay. And then you decided to you didn't even ground and pound him. You just hammered him.
Yeah, I saw his eyes roll.
Yeah, right.
As soon as I hit him, he blacked.
Yeah.
He went over backwards, and so I knew that he was fucked pretty much anyway. So I was waiting for the ref to sort of stop it, and I did get him a half decent one on the ground, but the ref was already jumping on my shoulder to stop me hitting him at that point anyway. So it was over. It was the world record for the whole Whimp to Warrior thing.
That's the World Series.
Yeah, now they do it.
Have
everywhere.
you got a belt?
No, but now, no, well, it's not.
Fastest time.
Yeah, it was the fastest knockout in ever at that stage. So,
in the world.
In the world, yeah.
So what have you done with fighting?
What have I done with fighting? No, nothing. I still train a bit. Not through COVID, obviously, but we were going to one of the local Muay Thai gyms, which is awesome.
Wow.
Muay Thai is pretty cool.
When do you like to train? You still get up 5:30s?
No, 5:30s. It's too hard with work.
Time,
it's too hard with work. Morning's work time. So I get up at 5:30.
Okay.
But I'm at work usually by 6:30, depending on where we are. And then I've got to organise everyone and make sure they're going where they need to be going, picking up the right materials, and making those sort of decisions pretty early in the morning.
Well, mate, it sounds like you're doing the right things. I mean, you are doing the right things. I mean, it's pretty full tilt. I mean, do you think that fight released a lot of that, I guess the pent up energy of, you maybe didn't feel you might have felt a little bit depressed about what had occurred?
A little bit. You know what? It was an accomplishment. It was massive. 6 months. 6 months of training every day. It was hard. It was really hard. It was good physically. It was good mentally. It was good to get it out. I don't know if it would have been different if I would have lost the fight. I still think it was a massive accomplishment. Anyway, for people just to get in that ring, it's
huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive, massive. So for someone to sign up and go have a fight, there's not many people that do that. An MMA fight as well. It's not.
What's it like stepping in the ring? It's kind of like it's not like a boxing ring, so
nervous.
It's gnarly.
And the connection with that too. I had an AC/DC song to walk out to, and they fucked up the walkout, and they actually put on Grinspoon, Chemical Heart, for when I walk out. That was completely unprompted.
Yeah, right.
So it was pretty crazy.
Especially considering the lyrical.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Fuck, it was so spooky, eerie, meant to be, the whole bit. And then, it was pretty nerve wracking. Look, I was confident. I wasn't scared of any result. I'd gone through it in my mind. I'd played it out. I knew I was going to hit him hard. I thought, fuck, if you can take me hitting him as hard as I know he can hit, he's a tough guy. There's a lot of things that go through your mind. I was scared.
Yeah.
I was scared. You're scared. You're excited. You're fitter than you've ever been. You're feeling good. I had no injuries at that stage. I was pumped. I was ready to go. I had heaps of people there. I had 40 people there, 40 friends and family, and people had come from everywhere. Yeah, so it was good. It was good for them. I was like a rock star for a couple of weeks. It was pretty cool.
And afterwards, you would have felt, on top of the world, or you were, and especially knowing you'd cracked the world record.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, obviously that wasn't
Good time to retire.
Yeah, one and done. So, yeah, it was very good. Look, you know what? I'd like to maybe have a little amateur seniors box, you know, how they do the age group
I
things
thought
or
about
whatever.
that. I trained at North Sydney Police Boys for a while, as you know.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of guys there going, "Oh, we've got the Aussie titles coming up and that." And, you know, I can box. You know, I mean, it was funny because Hopper and that were up there at one stage, and Solomon Hamano, and you know, all that sort of stuff was going on. Yeah, there was the real deal. You know, boys are hitting the bag hard. You know, and bags that feel like lead. And my wife was pregnant with Phoenix at the time, and I was thinking, if I go and box and I go on something and something happens, you know, I've got others that really to just. I don't know. I'm not
dependent on you.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a wimp, but I'm not a warrior. You know?
Yeah. Well, you know what it is with boxing too, the sparring. Like, so those constant head hits.
Yeah.
That's what stops me doing it. I've had enough head hits.
Yeah.
And I've had enough trauma. I've had enough bad things happen in my life. So I don't need to push the envelope and pop one of those hits. Have something that.
Well, I tell you, you know, you're on the money there, and it's the greatest gift that you know and I know is life. And I guess what COVID-19 has done, you know, for me and many others, including yourself, you know, is make you a little bit more inward. And like, I'm super even concerned about my space sometimes now.
Yeah.
I went to the fish markets and it was like a zoo, and I was thinking, fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, where's the New South Wales health regulations? Like, actually, you know, I don't know who is in place in giving out, and obviously it's everyone's responsibility, but giving out the 1.5 metre, you know, like sort of foot placement things. But I was tripping. It was a fucking
Was it
zoo.
busy? Was it like crazy?
It was like, it felt like pre-Christmas.
Yeah.
There was people pushing past me in this way, and then people serving you, and it just felt ugly. But you know, the other side of ugly is beautiful, and I think that's what we're about to hit right now. I think we're going to go through some pretty tough, interesting times, but you know,
that can breed some good stuff, though, can't it? Like, it can, you know, change always comes from those sort of things, which is always good. So hopefully we see some big change for the community.
Yeah, Tommy, talking about change, do you mind if we ask you a little question about change?
What, how much change he's got in his pocket?
Mate, you got loose change, don't you?
Oh, what have we got? Keys, that's about it. That's how poor I am at the minute.
And if you need a roof done, where do you go to, Simon?
NilandRoofing.com.au.
And if you're watching this live and you're watching this now and you want a job, how do we get in contact with you for a job? Because this is one guy who's hiring. He's not just, you know, not giving out job keepers. What are you looking for?
Same deal. Drop us an email or look us up on. We've got all the social media platforms, or you can search. Just Google search Niland Roofing. Give us a call, email, text, whatever, and we'll get back to you.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is virtually it for the show this evening. But before we duck out, let's have a little bit of listen to the beautiful tones of Mr. Sammy Higginson. Take it away, Sammy.
I spent some time up in the California hills, trying to master my songwriting skills. Little didn't know just what I would find. A beautiful girl, she was one of a kind. She got me feeling like, whoa, 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 whoa. Got me feeling like, whoa, 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 whoa. Got me feeling like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Got me feeling like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Traveling down the back roads where the pine trees lead the way, We watched the sunset sink into yesterday with a sparkle in her eye and drenched in a summer breeze. With a night so young, we didn't want to leave. She got me feeling like, whoa, 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 whoa. Got me feeling like, whoa, 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 whoa. Got me feeling like, whoa, 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 whoa. Got me feeling like, whoa, whoa, whoa. As I look back now, all I ever see is beauty in the way of everything that I feel. And I don't know how, and I don't know when. I'm dying here, 'cause you're where I wanna be. She got me feeling like, whoa, whoa, whoa. 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 You're forever on my mind.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's Mr. Sam Higginson. The journey so far is the EP. It's available now. Sammy, where do people get it from?
You can find it on my website as a hard copy at samhigginsonmusic.com, or it is also available on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your music, any streaming platforms, anything like that.
Mate, hard copy CDs, are they still selling?
They have been, yeah. I think people like the idea of having something tangible to take it home. I've got some USBs as well, which is nice, the fact that they can have the songs and then reuse the USB.
Is your head printed on the USB?
No. Would have been a good little design idea, though.
Mate, that would be
maybe the next one.
That would be the journey so far.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not getting my head on any USBs. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Brand Konnect. I'm Matt Jai, and until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of those you love, and also take care of your own personal brand, because at the end of the day, you are who you are.
The BK was proudly brought to you by Brand Konnects, made possible by the support of Paulie B, Future Signage and others. Many thanks to our special guest and you, our loyal followers. Catch you next time on the BK.